Hey everybody, welcome back to another Game Design Friday. It's MsRheyRhey. It's MsRheyRhey back to give you an update on how the whole video game concept is going. So, what I'm going to do a little bit is show you what I've been working on for the month of May. Not so much how, because that takes a long time, and then show you my goals for the month of June. Last month, I was showing you how really to start the pre-production of game design, like getting your mechanics all together, the rules of the game set up, items, sort of anything that you want to get put together. And now that I'm working on the proof of concept, or like a prototype of some sort, you can really start to put all of those items that you put like in your list that you made together and see how they work and see what you need to change as your idea forms. First, let me show you the to-do list for the month of May. Let's see. So first and foremost, when you are working on a build, you have to start with the basics. You can't always just go for the cool mechanics all the time, because you need certain things set up before you can do the mechanics. So first off, you want the major basic points of my game was that it would be first person, so I wanted to work on that first. You need a game manager, something to keep track of if you have a save system, something to reference that, what level you're on, music. Sometimes you can have different managers for different things, so a game manager would only keep track of the levels that you're in, what powers you have unlocked, any kind of lock and key sort of puzzles. A game manager can handle that, and then sometimes you want to separate that with how to manage the audio system for all your music and special effects and voices. If you do that, I wanted my player to be able to pick things up. So when you make a to-do list like this, specifically for me because I have a bad time remembering everything down in my head, it's important to write down what you want, sometimes specifically how you want right next to it. Right here, yes, I want this whistle mechanic to just play noises anytime I tap a certain amount of keys. Funny enough, sometimes when you are building your game, if you don't write these things down, specifically how you wanted them to work out, it can completely go off the rails really quick. And personally for me, I have just a start and end date, so I know how long something like that took me, and then, yes or no, is it done? Yeah, and then I made a very basic build, so let's go through that and show you how version 1 of a prototype is going. So okay, you're not supposed to see the volume first, so there have been some bugs. Very basic function menu. Let's see, let's go back to the volume controls actually. Let's do character volume higher because whistling isn't pretty, but it's important to be heard. But yeah, these work. I finally got them to work. The control menu, it just shows you to basic things like WSD to move, mouse click. Left mouse click is pick up objects, right is run. Right now I have a temporary reset level just because you can technically, if you try really hard, just walk off the level into the abyss. So I have the backspace right now to reset that just in case something happens. I have the ZXCVB, so 5 keys at the very bottom of your keyboard to do the whistling that the character will be using throughout the game. And P for pause, toggle P on the keyboard to turn on and off the pause menu. So that should all work. There we go. So all the trees and everything, I I got from the Unity asset store. I'm not entirely sure if these are going to be temporary or not. I'm still learning terrain. The clouds, again, I got with the trees and the Unity. Terrain is something I'm having fun learning. It's just been a while since I've done all of this together, so I have to like recall a lot of memories. But yeah, this is your character. This little ball that's to your left is for me to figure out because I don't have animation, but you should be able to pick up objects with your hand. That will be your hand later, but for now it's just set in front of you so you know the object that you're picking up. I have it set to where anytime you pick up an object, your anxiety meter should be going up. It goes up very, very slowly just because it's on a 0 to 1 system, so you have to use a lot of decimals in between your 0 to 1 values. And I didn't want picking up objects to, well, I put it on picking up objects to increase your anxiety for now, because I wanted to make sure that the meter worked by attaching it to something and saying, hey, look at this. So as you can see, if I keep picking up objects, which I noticed is not very realistic, I can pick up something like a mile away as long as I can see it, so that's a bit of a flaw, but incrementally you can kind of see it going up little by little. These little shiny rocks are something you collect, because who doesn't love picking up shiny rocks? Those, when you pick them up, you collect, and then they're added to your shiny rock collection that's like right down here. Does this volume still work? Let's see. Okay, volume doesn't seem to be working on this level. I have to figure out why. So walking around, there's trees everywhere. You technically paint these onto the terrain, but they have a collider in them specifically from like the brush and stuff. You can run. Oh yeah, you can jump technically, but like I'm gonna have to put like a distance thing on there, because as you can see, as long as I can see it, if it's just far away, I can still pick it up. And the little shiny rock counter is part of the inventory collection system that will be used later, probably just not how you think. But so far it looks like everything works pretty much. Just yes, everything is restarted, and you still have the amount of shiny rocks that you collected, so player preference is working gorgeously for now. Let me exit out of this game real quick and then show you my goals for the month of June. So far what I have is just 4 very basic goals. What is it for? It's kind of for the checkpoint manager and the thought markers, parentheses checkpoints, are sort of like a 2-in-1 item, but that's not necessary until I get more than just a prototype one. So the things that I wanted to work on for the month of June were save states, which is saying, hey, this player is on this level and it has this many rocks, shiny rocks to collect. Please remember that so I don't have to restart the game all over after I close it. You know, like save and load states. I'm over explaining things to you, I'm sorry. Entity is the antagonist. I'm working on him right now. He is going to be a bit of a challenge, but basically what I want him to do is, for the prototype demo sort of reel right now, he's going to have a lot more to do later, but for now I just want him to intimidate the player and follow him around, like chase him basically, and then grow like the closer he gets to the player. to like be intimidating and everything. After that, I want to do very basic animations for the player, so that way he can like walk. I can like get that little ball that was where all the pickup objects were coming from. I can move that to his hand. Things that make sense and make it seem a little more realistic. Granted, I'm going for a low poly feel on this thing, but you know, still. And then I need to make the level. Like environmental puzzles was part of the whole game design document that you guys saw in the, well, okay, I showed you the pitch document, but I also made a game document along with that. If you want to see the game and pitch document, there are links on my Patreon that lead you right to those. But yeah, I have puzzles to make within the game, so you have something to progress forward through. I will add more goals as I'm working, because that happens. I have other characters I really need to make. I have other bigger parts of the story that I need to get structured. After though I get the main big mechanics down, then I could work on level to level kind of scripting and stuff like that. It makes the process a lot faster of like making a game. So when it comes to making this game, the time scale that I am currently thinking it will be around like 2 years roughly, just because I have a very simple story, I have very simple mechanics. I think as long as I can get the big things done first, the small ones will fall into place. But I have the summer to make the demo / prototype, because it turns out at the end of the year I'm going to be moving. So stick around if you want to see how this whole thing is going to progress. But by the end of summer, if I can't get support for this, it's going to have to be put on a back burner and sort of like a part-time thing rather than a full-time thing, because I need to work to eat. So if you would like me to continue working on this as like a full job, so like I can tell you how the game design process works, please consider supporting me on Patreon. There's a lot of different things I can do on there specifically that would just take a lot of time here on YouTube. Things like explaining how specific mechanics in my game work, how the story is gonna run through, how I can get people to like beta test and alpha test my game, things of that nature. And then if you want more updates on how the game is working, rather than once a month, I do bi-monthly updates on how the game is working. And if you have any like specific questions for it and everything, I can answer you through the Patreon. For a beginning Patreon, I feel like there's a lot of rewards for the specific game tiers, because I have it split between my two special interests. I basically have 2 tiers for the game. Okay, well, yes, I basically have 2 tiers for the game side. They are mini bosses and big bosses, varying. But if I can get up to 20 people to help support me on Patreon in any capacity, I'll be able to like live stream and like get into more detail with these things. I'd be able to like communicate with you guys a lot faster, a lot better. Can't really remember the other rewards right now. I don't know, like a Discord server where we can all hang out, maybe? I'm working on that. I'm not the best at being social. I don't understand social cues, how to interact with other people, so bear with me. I'm a little slow, but we can get through this if we work together. So yeah, that is basically my plan for the month of June, is to get these goals weekly. After this month of June, hopefully I can get the demo to fully work out. That will be more into the nitty gritty and level design coming up next month. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this Game Design Friday and figuring out the game design process with me. I look forward to seeing you next month, and I hope you all have a happy June. Have a wonderful life.